Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Speaker Johnson is getting tough in the days after the shutdown, and he's bringing it to the Senate. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. There's one thing we should all know by now, that Republican or Democrat, politicians are going to find a way to get themselves paid. In the shutdown deal, senators, Republican senators, slipped in there that they could sue the Department of Justice for up to $500,000 because they were spied on during Operation Arctic Frost. Now that's honestly payola. That's almost like a bribe to end the shutdown. And Speaker Johnson is furious about it. And he's working right now. He couldn't keep the government shut down any longer to work it out before passing the legislation. But what he's doing is he's shining a light on it now for the American people to see and let them know this is wrong. Senators should not be enriching themselves on taxpayer dollars because of this. What the Justice Department did was horrible. What Jack Smith did was horrible. But taking that money from the American people is also horrible. And he's trying to get this law that they passed basically rolled back at this point, using the House of Representatives to do it. And I think it's the right thing to do. Republican or Democrat, you should not be cashing in on us because the Biden Department of Justice played dirty. In fact, maybe you should just sue Jack Smith directly. I want you guys to take a look at this, listen to what the speaker had to say, and let me know what you think in the comments.
January. I mean, what's practical?
Well, look, the goal is all 12, and I'm doggedly determined to make that happen. If we fall short and there are 2 or 3 left on the table, then we would do a continuing resolution to finish those, but it wouldn't be anything like the stakes of this long nightmare that we just went through, because remember, all the bills, everything would be funded. Troops and essential services and those kinds of things would already be off the table. So farmers and federal employees, Border Patrol agents, TSA, air traffic control, they wouldn't have to be sitting around stressed out about when their next paycheck's going to come. That would have been taken care of. So there'd be minor details left at the end of the year. That's the goal, Maria, for us to get all that done.
Meanwhile, Mr. Speaker, the Senate GOP adding a provision in the government funding package which allows senators to sue if their electronic records were obtained without their knowledge. Look, we've been talking about this Arctic Frost investigation for a while. You've told Senate Majority Leader Thune that you strongly disagree with that addition. It has created some division, certainly. Why are you against that addition?
Well, the optics of it are terrible. I don't think you should do it retroactively. We all agree that Arctic Frost was a horrific abuse of our judicial system, and it was an overreach, and we've got to bring accountability to those involved in it, and we have to make sure that stuff never happens again. But I think for sitting lawmakers to vote in themselves an ability to go cash in on something like that, to me, it was just a really bad look. And I think many of them regret it. I think some of them are coming out now saying that they will help us to repeal that provision. It should never have been dropped into our clean CR. I fought so hard, Maria, to keep the CR clean, totally nonpartisan. Yeah. That was the whole point of this, and they dropped it in at the last minute. So, look, John Thune, Leader Thune is an extraordinary leader in the Senate. He's a dear friend, trusted leader. I love working with him. And I think some of these things happen in the haste of a last-minute filing of a bill, and it just shouldn't have happened. And I think they regret it now. I think we'll fix it.
Well, I think that's a good point that you just made, and that is you tried so hard to make this clean, and you didn't want all this extra stuff. But how do you push back on colleagues that are just trying to take their political enemies down? I mean, I spoke with Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, and he was very upset that as part of Arctic Frost, it captured ordinary Wisconsinites who did nothing wrong, wouldn't even think about breaking the law. And in fact, now they're facing criminal charges because they supported President Trump. Here's the senator with me on Sunday. Watch this.
We want to certainly uncover all the coordination between his prosecution, Department of Justice,